Hi everyone, good day. I am VN Limas from BSH M3B, and today I am going to report Chapter 8, Laws Regulating Accommodation Establishments. So our learning objectives: identify the laws affecting the accommodation sector, identify the rights of hotel guests, and explain how quality and safety standards are maintained by hotels and similar establishments by meeting minimum requirements of the law. Nature and description of the business. The law. Business entities engaged in the operation of tourist accommodation establishment may be organized as a single proprietorship, a partnership, or a corporation. So we have first hotel. So a building, edifice, or premises or a completely independent part thereof, which is used for the regular reception, accommodation, or lodging of travelers and tourists. Then, second, resort. So, any place or places with pleasant environment and atmosphere conducive to comfort, healthful relaxation and rest, offering food and sleeping accommodation and also recreational facilities. So, tourist inn. So, a lodging establishment catering to transients with which does not meet the minimum requirements of any economy hotel. Then, a partel. So, any building or edifice containing several independent and furnished or semi-furnished apartments and regularly leased to tourists and travelers. Then, we have pension house. So, a private or family-operated tourist boarding house, tourist guest house, or tourist lodging house employing non-professional domestic helpers, regularly catering the tourist. Then we have motorist hotel or motel, so any structure with several separate units, primarily located along the highway with individual or common parking space at which motorists may obtain lodging and, for instances, meals. Discussion of the law. So first we have hotels. So hotels are hereby classified into the following categories, namely deluxe class, so known as 5-star category. Second, first class, known as 4-star category. Then third is standard class, known as 3-star category. And the last is economy class, known as 2-star category. Then we have classification of hotels is based on a number of criteria such as location, bedrooms, facilities and furnishings, front office or reception service, housekeeping standards, food and beverage service, recreational facilities like swimming pool, golf, gym facilities. Then we have engineering and maintenance, service and staff, general facilities like roof garden, terrace, parking space or more. Then lastly is special facilities like limousine service, business center, and airport transfers. Then we have resort. So categorized as a beach resort. So it has located along the seashore. So inland resort like in town proper. Island resort like in the island. So resort shall be classified as follows. So class AAA, class AA, and class A. And then the last is special interest resort. So classification of resort is based on location, parking, facilities and room accommodation, public washrooms, sports and recreational facilities, conference or convention facilities, employee facilities, lounge and reception counter, and lastly is lighting, furnishing or ventilation. Motorist hotel or motel. So, operation and maintenance of a motel. So, all motels are required to keep a motel registry book stating the following particulars. So, we have the full name, address, and number, date and place of issue of residence certificate, class A or driver's license or passport. So, in addition, so no motels except for lodging or accommodation. So, any person below 18 years of age unless accompanied by a parents or guardian. So, example of this is Wise Hotel, Sugu Hotel, and Victoria Court. Accreditation of accommodation establishments by the Department of Tourism. So, any partnership, corporation, or other entity desiring to secure an accreditation from the Department of Tourism shall accomplish in duplicate and file with the department and the application prescribed for such purpose. Then we have validity of certificate of accreditation. So the certificate of accreditation shall be valid for a period of 1 year from the date of issue unless sooner revoked by the department. Responsibilities of accommodation establishment. So, accommodation establishments must exercise due diligence not only in the selection of its employees but also in the serving the needs of its customers. So, under Article 1170 of the new Civil Code, those who, in the performance of their obligations, are guilty of negligence are liable for damages. So, thus, if an employee is found negligent, it is presumed that the employer was negligent in selecting or supervising him, for it is hard for the victim to prove the negligence of such employer. National Building Code of the Philippines. So, it was adopted in view of the country's accelerating economic and physical development, coupled with urbanizations and population growth. So, the National Building Code of the Philippines, or NBCP, contains up-to-date and modern technical knowledge or building design, construction, use, and occupancy and maintenance. The law. Section 104, General Building Requirements. So first, all buildings or structure as well as accessory facilities there to shall conform in all respect to the principles of safe construction. Then B, building or structures intended to be used for the manufacture or production of any kind of article or product shall observe environmental safeguard. Then we have buildings or structure and all parts thereof as well as all facilities found therein shall be maintained in safe, sanitary, and good working condition. Section 105, Site Requirements. So the land or site upon which will be constructed any building or structure or any ancillary or auxiliary facility thereto shall be sanitary, hygienic, or safe. So in case of sites or buildings intended for use as human habitation or abode, so the same shall be at a safe distance as determined by competent authorities from streams or bodies of water. Building permits. So the law, Section 301, building permits. So no person, firm, or corporation including any agency or instrumentality of the government shall be erect, construct, alter, repair, move, convert, or demolish any building or structure or cause the same to be done without first obtaining a building permit. Then we have Section 302, application for permits. So, in order to obtain a building permit, so the applicant shall file an application thereof in writing and or the prescribed form with the office of the building official. Discussion of the law. So, the above provision provides for the basic requirements for a building permit to be issued. So, the law explicitly provides that no person, firm, or association shall construct or erect any building or structure without first securing a building permit to be issued by the building official assigned in the place where the building or structure is located. So, it must be emphasized that no building or structure shall be used or occupied until the building official has issued a certificate of occupancy. General requirements of all buildings by use or occupancy. So the law, Section 704, location on property. So we have first general. So no building shall be constructed unless it adjoins or has direct access to a public space, yard, or street on at least one of its sides. Then second, fire resistance of walls. So exterior walls shall be fire resistance and opening protection. So, discussion of the law. So, accommodation establishments belong to the Group B occupancies under the National Building Code. So, accordingly, it shall consist of multiple dwelling units, including boarding or lodging houses, hotels, apartments, buildings which accommodate more than 10 people. Light and ventilation. So the law. Article 801, so general requirements of light and ventilation. Article 806, size and dimensions of rooms. Article 807, airspace requirements in determining the size of rooms. Then Article 808, window openings. So, discussion of the law. So, light and ventilation refers to an easement of natural light and allowance of circulation of fresh air un- unobstructed by erection and construction. The foregoing provisions gives the minimum requirements, allow light and ventilation within the building. Sanitation, the law. Section 901, general requirements. So, subject to the provisions of Book 2 of the Civil Code of the Philippines on property ownership and its modification. So, all buildings hereafter are erected, altered, remodeled, relocated, or repaired for human habitation shall be provided with adequate potable water supply. So, discussion of the law. So, in case of drinking water from underground sources, so it must conform to the criteria set in the latest approved national standards for drinking water. General design and construction requirements. So the law, section 1201, general requirements. So building proposed for construction shall comply with all the regulations and specification herein set forth governing quality. So discussion of the law, so subject to the provisions of Article 684 or 686 of Civil Code of the Philippines on lateral and subjacent support. So the design and quality of materials used structurally in excavation, footings, and in foundation shall conform to accept engineering practice. Registration of guests and occupants. So the Civil Code of the Philippines implies the need for the registration of guests or occupants in accommodation establishments. So accordingly, so keepers of hotels or inns shall be responsible for the deposits given by the travelers on guests, provided notice was given with respect to the effect brought by these guests and that keepers of hotel. Then we have National Homestay Program. So the National Homestay Program is a program of the Department of Tourism which provides travelers with comfortable accommodations with Filipino families in areas near tourist attractions. We have training. So, family members shall have completed the department's training workshops or homestay program. So, waste management. So, under Presidential Decree number 1152, also known as the Environmental Code of the Philippines, so the dumping of disposal of solid waste into the sea and any body of water in the Philippines, including shorelines and river banks, where these wastes are likely to be washed into the water is prohibited. So in this regard, so the preparation and implementation of waste management shall be required to all provinces, cities, and municipalities. Security and safety. So the DOT or Department of Tourism Memorandum Circular number 206-209 series of 2006 constitutes the adoption of safety and security measures in hotels, resorts, and other similar accommodation establishments. So accordingly, failure to comply with such memorandum circular shall be ground for the review of the accreditation of the accommodation establishment concerned. So that's all on my report about Chapter 8, Laws Regulating Accommodation Establishments. So I hope that you've learned something. Thank you for listening and God bless.